Alright, so I'm going to be making a multi-point pre-equalized anchor using double shoulder length webbing. What I've done is I hooked a quick carabiner into the webbing, and I'm just going to hook it onto the anchor point. Alright, I'm going to take a second carabiner, I'm going to hook it into the webbing, and then I'm going to hook that onto a second point for the anchor. I'm going to pull the middle part down. Once I've done that, I'm going to grab the entire end, hook a carabiner in there, and this is where we're actually going to tie an overhand around all of the webbing and bring it back through. And then we tighten it down. And then the last part, what we want to do is we want to take another carabiner, plug it through, and create an opposite opposed with our carabiners down here. And this is a single point pre-equalized anchor, and I'm just going to go over a couple things we want to check. We've got our anchor points, we've got our arm, we've got what's called a limiting knot, we've got our master point, we've got our carabiners, two of them, creating opposite opposed. When it comes to the anchor, there's a few things we want to check, and we use the acronym LEADSTER, and what that stands for is limited, extension, angle, direction, solid, timely, equalized, and redundant. So to start, what we're checking here on a pre-equalized multi-point anchor is obviously a direction of pull. It's going to be single direction, but we want to make sure it's limited. So if something fails, it's not going to go terribly far, and we can see that here. We can also see there's not going to be a lot of extension. So if something does fail, right, it doesn't have a lot of travel in it. The next part we want to check is when it comes to the arms, we want to make sure the angle is less than 90 degrees, all right? Again, direction, as I mentioned before, we want to make sure that in this case, direction of pull is where we want it. And then we're looking at what's called solid in LEADSTER. Solid is where you want to look at the anchor all the way around. You want to check to make sure anything in the big picture, like what kind of rock you're going into, are there cracks around the rocks, the real big picture, make sure you've got a solid anchor in that regards. You also want to check the micro part of it where you're looking at the details. So in this case, you'd be hooking into some bolts. You want to make sure they're not rusty, they're not spinning, and so forth. The next part, obviously you saw it didn't take long to build this, so that's very timely, and that's the timely part of LEADSTER. It's really quick to build. It's equalized, so there's about equal, I guess, tension on both sides of the arms. It's not really pulling to one side or the other. And then redundant. Obviously, if one of these anchors fails, we want to make sure that we actually are going to get caught, and we can see redundancy. So we're checking our LEADSTER, we're good there. That means we've got a good single point, we've got a multi-point pre-equalized anchor.